Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Nanny. Today, we have three panelists and a pop-in fourth one because he's taking care of the kids. So, I would want you ladies to introduce yourselves and then tell us a fun fact. We'll start with Miss Stacy.
Hi, I'm Stacy Woden. Fun fact. Ooh, that's a hard one. 14-month-olds are a lot of drama.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine. Mine are grown now.
Waiting on those grandbabies.
Well, the grandbaby, my youngest grandbaby, was 4 in January.
So you need more.
Oh.
Yes. But I adopted a little one. He's 11 months old, and he lives in Dallas. And Papa Sam, which is my husband, and I adopted him as the god grandson. So we have couple of those. So yeah. All right, Miss Courtney, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. My name is Courtney Gibson. I own Gibson Newborn Services, which is a company dedicated to helping new parents with their newborns. And we also do sleep consulting, parent education, all kinds of things. I also teach a class called Sleep Wonders that you might have heard of. And my fun fact, other than the fact that I'm 28 weeks pregnant and already sweating, but it's
Tommy Club.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. My fun fact is that when I was in first grade, I asked every single day if I could have my first grade reader. And my teacher would say, no, we have to learn how to say all the letters and everything first. And so I asked every day. And finally, one day she looked up and I had, during free play, had circled up my classroom on the reading rug and was reading them a book. And she said, Courtney Gibson, can you read? And I said, I can. I've been trying to tell you this for months. And so they started sending me to the kindergarten class to read to the kindergartners because I already knew how to read.
Oh, that's sweet.
I started out educating while I was still in first grade.
Well, hey, teach them while they're young. Raise up a child.
That's back in the day when my mom had a lot of patience because I could read and write when I went to first grade.
Yeah, my sons were the same way, but my oldest became like class clown. So yeah, he's too smart for his own good. But anyway, on to Miss Ilonda.
All right. So Alonda Johnson. I'm a leadership coach. That's my job or my career. And the other half of my life is my beautiful family. I'm married. My husband, Jay, hopefully will pop in at some point. And we have 3 kids. So we have a 5-year-old who is in kindergarten, currently being schooled from home, as we like to call it. And we have almost 23-month-old twins. They'll be 23 months on the 23rd, Brooklyn and Benton and Isabella. So he's busy with them right now. Fun fact, twins do run in my family, fraternal twins, on both sides of my family. But, you still never think it's going to happen to you. But my maternal grandmother is a fraternal twin, and then my aunt and uncle on my dad's side are fraternal twins as well, boy, girl.
Wow. Yes. Well, my fun fact is I've taken care of 35 sets of twins. So
wow, that's a lot of twins.
Yes, it's a lot of twins. So today we're going to, excuse me, my allergies are kicking in. It keeps getting hot and cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And every time it warms up, it's like all this stuff just floods inside of me. I'm like, ah. So you all bear with me tonight. So tonight we are talking about must-haves, baby must-haves from 0 to 12 months. Now, I got some experts with the 14-month-old and the sleep wonders and NCS, and I'm an NCS, and I was an NCS for Yolanda. So we all have a list of things that we prefer for the 0 to 12 months. So I'm going to start with Stacy. Give us 2 things that you have that are must-haves for 0 to 12 months.
Sound machine. We still use it to this day. We use Electrofan, an EVOO, because my son likes pink noise. Is that an Electrofan too?
It's Electrofan original, yes.
Oh, okay. So we had an original, but it didn't do pink noise, and my son prefers the pink noise. So the EVOO or 00 or whatever, it has different brown, pink, and all the different types of noises to it. So that is a must-have. I put it on, and he knows it's bedtime.
Signal.
Yeah.
Conditioning.
Yes. So that is definitely a must-have. What is another must-have for us? I would say his sleep sack, because you can't have anything in the crib, and his room gets cold. So our sleep sack, we have a kite sleep sack that we use.
Do you want me to go get one? I just opened one.
Sure.
Like I got a couple hanging on the cribs in the other room.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, and I can hear the brown noise coming from the Bose speaker.
Yeah.
We hook an old iPhone to a Bose speaker, so like you're speaking my language. Yeah.
I like the kite sleep sacks though, because there's 3 different levels. So there's the warmer levels to the ones in the summertime. You can still have a little bit of a blanket kind of idea. So, and they're really well made. They're made out of like a bamboo, so they're very breathable. They wash really well. So those are my favorite.
What's the brand name of it?
It's Kite, Kyte.
They're so soft.
Super soft.
Super soft. Okay.
Yeah. So those are my 2 favorite, I think, must-haves, especially I think all age, 0 to 12 the whole time.
Yeah.
The nice thing is that one size of that sleep sack fits from 6 to 12 months. So you don't have to buy every couple of months buy a new one. It's really long, comfy. It's a great product.
Yeah, and they had an amazing Black Friday sale, so we stocked up on them.
That's a must-have. Stock up on kids' clothes out of season.
Yes.
Buy out of season, because they're going to go to that size, and it's going to be summertime by the time they get there. So when those clothes go in size, okay, so he's 2 months old now. By the summertime, okay, let's see, 12 months, 12 to 18 months. Buy the clothes out of season. That's my must-have.
Yeah, I know. I have bins of every size in my garage right now. So when he gets the next Friday, just pull the bin out, wash it all, and it's all ready. It's amazing. It's filled with hand-me-downs and stuff people gave us, stuff I bought on sale. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Storage bins are a must too. Now, Miss Courtney, I know you have.
I have stuff all over my desk to share with you, because I wasn't sure how many things I got to talk about. So I think everyone sort of knows about a good white noise machine and a good swaddle blanket. But I wanted to give you, do I really only get 2? So hard.
Well, we're coming back around.
Okay.
We're just trying to be fair, because I know you will pull out everything that we have on our list, and we have nothing to say.
Girl, it is true.
So you have been in there at this for a while, so you probably have wardrobe on top of wardrobe of newborn stuff.
I do. I mean, I've been collecting for a long time in anticipation of this baby, but also I have been taking care of babies for over 20 years. So I have a tub of stuff that I take on the job with me and just in case I need something. So I'll give you one of my favorite tips is in the newborn stage, until your baby's sleeping through the night, gowns that are open at the bottom to make for easy diaper changes, or zippers.
Mm-hmm.
She knows with the twins, no, you cannot have snaps. It's just
no. And I'll do one further, Courtney. The zippers that go from the bottom to the top.
Yes, those are the
so
best.
All of this is not hanging out because as soon as that cold air hits, I'm like, okay, I'm up, I'm ready to play.
Exactly.
No, it's the middle of the night. Go back to sleep. This is not happening.
No, sleeping. So one of my other favorite tricks. So there are lots of swaddle blankets on the market. There are lots of what I would say gimmicky, like Velcro options. And
I hate Velcro.
I mean, I have one that I like, but what you can do instead of investing in that Velcro that's going to end up getting ruined in your wash, I just take a regular plain old plain swaddle blanket. I like stretchy cotton. And you wrap the baby up. And so the problem I see with parents is that they don't have the practice and experience to have like a really nice snug swaddle that will stay all night. So my recommendation, while you're learning, while you're figuring it out, do your swaddle, dress appropriately, and then put your baby in a sack with no arms. So this one's made by Swaddle Me, but Wombie makes one too.
Wombie.
It's just a little armless zip-up sack. So the swaddle is inside. If it comes loose, it's not dangerous. The baby can't, break out and wake up. And it's just a more secure swaddle for parents who are just learning how, to get that nice, snug baby burrito.
Yeah.
I like the baby burrito. All right, Miss Alanda.
Well, and just to tag on, the one that ended up working well for us was the swaddle up that swaddles them with their hands up here. So my son liked to kind of chew on the little enclosed hand part. And we actually still use them.
You still have a love to dream?
Yeah, because you can zip off zip off the shoulders. And so now we just use it as a regular sleep sack when they soil one of their, their other ones. So that was really good for us. Let's see, a couple of things. If you are using formula, and this was something I got from Miss Angela, the Dr. Brown's pitcher that allows you to mix it in bulk. So you don't have to make individual bottles. You can actually put the pitcher in the refrigerator. And I think it's good for,
24 hours.
I mean, it only lasts us 8 hours. So I don't really know. But with two. But it's good for up to 24 hours. So that definitely came in handy when I was having to supplement with both of the babies. And then let's see, I have a little cheat sheet over here. The snap and go for stroller. So whether you have a Chico or a Britax or whatever type of infant stroller you have, getting one of or infant carrier you have, getting one of the little strollers that you can literally just snap them into and then go. That was a lifesaver for us with just the one. And then also when we got two, we got one that you could snap both of them into at the same time. It saved my back.
Yay. Okay, so my little trick is the one that I love is those little paddles. I hate getting that gooey stuff on my hands, especially in the middle of the night because you can't see that you still have some on your hands, even though you wipe your hands. And one night, my glasses were falling off, and I went like this, and all night I kept smelling. I said, why am I smelling diaper rash medicine? Because it was all up my nose, and I went to the bathroom, and I had a stripe down my nose. I was like, ah! So from then on, I had the little paddle, the little bum paddles. I love them, but as a precautionary to parents who are using them, please wipe them off. They don't just, you just keep dipping and dipping and dipping while it's sitting out there, it's collecting bacteria. So please wipe them off in between changes.
They
That's one of my things.
Wash it in between.
Yes.
They come in a 2-pack.
Well, yes, they do come in a 2-pack. And my other thing is, if you all don't know about onesies, and now I'm talking to new parents here.
Oh, yeah.
Onesies are those little hooks on the shoulder that kind of, is so you can unfold and bring it down. Because when you get that blowout, you do not want to drag that back up over the child's head and you got just poop everywhere, all up the back, all over the sides. Keep it contained from the waist down by pulling the onesie down. And that way it stays contained at the bottom and it doesn't go everywhere, because once you start pulling it up, you have created a bigger mess for yourself. So the onesies are fantastic. And I learned today, and I know you all probably already know this, if you're changing the baby and he's always flailing his arms, if you pull the onesie up this way and pull the back up that way and you snap it, their arms, they can't move their arms, so you can change the pamper. I had no clue until somebody sent me I was like, where have I been? Under a rock somewhere? Seriously, I learned that just today. And I was like,
with a gown, so it has the elastic at the bottom of the gown. So when you're pulling it up to change the diaper at night, I just pop it right over the elbows, and so the baby's half swaddled while they're
yes, same thing, same difference. Just it's just the rubber band versus the snap. Either way, during the daytime when they have the onesie on and they're wiggling and going like this. Most of the time at night, they're not as wiggly. Most of the time. I'm not going to say all the time, but most of the time. But I was just, I can't tell you all, I woke the babies most of my 30, 40 years, and I did not know that. I feel so embarrassed, but I needed to share that because if I didn't know, somebody else out there doesn't know either.
It's a great tip.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Stacy, we're back to you.
2 more items. Trying to think what we use all the time. A good diaper cream. So I found that the Welda works really well with us. It has I can never say this word right, that one flower. It's like
Candula.
Yes. So it has that in it. And that one seems to be working the best for him. We've tried like the normal other ones. And we use A&D at night as like a coating. He's older, so I don't change him throughout the night. So we put A&D all over his bottom at nighttime, so that way there's a barrier. So a good diaper cream is a good one. What's another one that he really likes? What he really, really likes is that banana-looking toothbrush thing. So
yes.
Yeah, so he used it as a teether in the beginning, and then actually we went through feeding therapy, and our feeding therapist had us using it with food to get him to like learn how to move his tongue properly. So that was like such a big, like such something that we used a lot. So
I like that.
And it comes in like a cactus, a corn cob, several different styles, that little toothbrush.
Yes.
Toy.
I like it.
But it's awesome. It's like all silicone-y and it's soft, and he just loved gnawing on it when his teeth were coming in. It was the best.
Oh, I'm not the only one. Claylee says she just learned about that last week. The one about the snap today. I
just not learned alone today.
I feel justified. I am not alone. All right, Miss Courtney.
Okay, it's so hard to pick, but I think one of the things that new parents really should have on hand is a sling or a baby carrier or a wrap of some kind. This is a linen ring sling. It's super easy to put on and adjust. And my little friend Jamal is going to come in and go for a ride. It's a great way to keep your baby close at hand, but also, give your arms a little bit of a break during the day. I can eat and rest and do all kinds of things while I'm wearing this little baby. So there are woven wraps. There are baby wearing experts out there who can teach you and help you find the thing that works best for you. I used to hate baby wearing because I was using structured carriers, which just don't fit me very well. So I started using a ring sling and a woven wrap, and I now love baby wearing. So that is a must-have on my list. And then I think also we should not forget about the, breastfeeding, chest feeding person in this arrangement. So we've talked about baby gear. One of my favorite breastfeeding items is the haka.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the camera's backwards, so I'm trying to figure it out. So it's really a nice soft silicone device that you can wear while you're nursing or pumping on the other side to catch milk, or also to gently hand express. So that's really popular with my moms. I hope I enjoy it as well. But I think that's a must-have as well.
What is it called again?
The haka, Haakaa.
Okay.
So I learned tip for that is the one with the little suction at the bottom is the best. So that way it doesn't tip as easily. And then also they make covers for them or little plugs, and get one of those too. But the haka is amazing. I would save so much milk just by using that in the beginning.
So it comes in a cheaper version, which is just the one piece, but what Stacy's talking about is this one, which is a little bit more expensive, but it comes with the removable lid as well as the little suction cup base. So it just sticks on, so you're not tipping over your milk. I mean, how many times have we watched moms lose a whole?
Oh, that's gold. You're throwing away gold.
It's heartbreaking. Especially if you're not an overproducer, it's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my must-haves.
All right, Miss Alonda.
Well, in keeping with the breast milk theme, I actually still have some in my freezer that we use for milk baths because my daughter has eczema. And so I find that whenever I draw her a bath and, put in a bag of breast milk, it helps to calm her skin down. So I put that, and then the colloidal oatmeal, I think it's what it's called, to help with her skin. And then the other thing I would say would be the nose Frida. That's been our best friend. It makes some people squeamish.
And I'll tell you why in a minute.
But my husband is actually an expert. So it kind of pinning him down, inserting. I mean, he's very quick, very methodical with it. But basically, it's in lieu of using a bulb, especially if you have a bulb that you can't open and clean out. The nose Frida comes with a tube that you kind of suck through, and there's a filter to block any of the snot or mucus from coming up through the other end. But it's a good way to suction out their little noses.
Yeah, been there, done that.
It's really got to be your own kid. I do not have any interest in using one on anyone else's child. I don't know if I'll use one on mine. I like the bulb syringes that come apart that are clear that you can wash. Mm-hmm. And I would prefer to do actually a saline flush instead of, extracting first, because it just breaks the little capillaries inside their nose. So I do a saline flush where you hold them sort of face down in the sink and just shoot the saline up and through. And then you can kind of grab what's right there. But that's just my own.
Yeah. And we do a combo of both. We use the little nose drops, and they have a humidifier. They use suction, all of that. But we're kind of a snotty bunch.
Mm-hmm. I do before we use the nose Frida, we do a saline spray. Mm-hmm. And I learned that I guess every time the child's sick, you're supposed to throw it out and use a new one the next time. I didn't even think about that. And I was at the doctor once and they were like, make sure you're throwing it out afterwards because it holds the bacteria. I'm like, oh, I feel dumb now.
Like your toothbrush after you've had strep throat.
Mm-hmm. And any other illness.
Yes.
Because it just comes back. You keep brushing. You're like, okay, I'm just recycling my germs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my little story about that little nose bulb syringe, you know, the blue ones that come home from the hospital. Mm-hmm. This was back in 2008, I do believe. Yeah, because they're like 11 years old now. I'm suctioning and all this green goo is coming out. And I got my little tissue and I'm pushing it in there and I'm suctioning out some more. And I get ready to push this big long green one in there on the tissue. And he kicks his foot just as I push and it turns around and hits me right in the mouth.
Oh.
I was just like, I literally took him like this and put him in the crib. And I was like, he's sitting there screaming. I'm like, I'm not getting sick off you. I was just like, So yeah, I like the ones. Let me just spray the little nose. I learned from that lesson. Spray the nose and do. No, I don't like the nose Frida simply because of that fear. It's gonna get past that barrier and it's gonna come in my mouth. So I don't like the nose Frida. And a lot of moms say, "Well, I have the nose Frida." I'm like, okay.
That's like you can do it. You can
wait on you.
You want to, but not on my watch.
Yeah,
not gonna happen. But another one of my must-haves, I like the little the sleep sack you were mentioning. I like the Love to Dream, because they sleep with their hands up, and I noticed that most of my babies, when I recommend it to them, they're like, oh, that works so well. I don't know why it works. I just know that it does. Mm-hmm. And they sleep through the night. And I like your idea of swaddle and then put them in the little sleep sacks, the little Woombi. Never tried that before, but I will from now on.
I call it double swaddling. It's for Houdinis. It works great. And it's such a booster for parents.
Yes, twins. There's always one. When you have twins, there's always one Houdini. Always one, and somehow they teach the other twin. They're around long enough, they teach the other twin. But yeah, they're Houdinis. Also, I like the little duck. There's a little duck that on the bottom of it is for the bath time, and it tells you whether the water is too hot. Mm-hmm. So if you are running your child's water, and just stick the duck in there, and it'll tell you this is too hot. Don't put your baby in there. So it's quick, it's simple, and it's like $4 or $5. So it's something that will save you heartbreak and heartache, because I had a parent who called me. I just gave him a bath and oh my God, the water was too hot and he's all red. And I was like, okay. So when I went back, I had a little duck in my hand. I was like, here you go. Here's the duck. Use this every time. So those are my two. Miss Stacy?
A red light at night. So I nurse at night. We still wake up once a night and nurse. And that red light I'm able to see him, but it's not messing with his melatonin. He's not waking him up. So that I feel like is really important. We have the hatch just because it was bought for us by, on our baby shower. But There's so many on the market now, but definitely has to be red.
Yes.
So that's one. And then for the breastfeeding and pumping mamas, the Kind system is life-changing. Like there's like an adapter that goes right onto your pump. You pump right directly into the bags. The bags go in the freezer, and then you use that bag and pop it into like this little like plastic like case, and then pop the nipple on, and there's the bottle. And all you have to wash is the nipple because the bag gets thrown out afterwards. And it's super easy system. It was life-changing for me. You don't have to like have, transfer milk to different bags and different things. And it was just one bag. You pump right into it and you use that bag to feed. And when they start to eat solids, if you make your baby food, you can turn those bags to put the food in to make pouches. They have like a system that you can use to do that. It's amazing.
And it's the Kind system.
Yes, KIINDE. And you can get a free, if you go to their website, you can get like a free little starter pack, and you only pay shipping for it.
Oh, cool.
And Amazon has deals all the time for like their bigger starter kits, and they have deals all the time for the bags, and it's an amazing system.
Wow. Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep this video so I can go back and grab all these that are not on my list. So, Miss Courtney, what else you got for us? I know you got some more demonstrations over there.
And along the lines of the Kind, if you, I am going to try to use glass as much as I can. And so I have adapters for my pump that will allow me to pump right into mason jars.
Oh,
and then
cool.
A bottle system called Mason that has, collars and nipples that fit onto a glass jar. Like if you wanted to save your jars from when you had your, this jam good.
You want me to save them for you?
When you finish your jam, you just save those little, the smaller of the, you've got with the wide mouth jars.
And
the
regular mouth.
The nipple just screws right onto it. And then, of course, you can use those for, baby food, leftovers, whatever. I have a million jars already, so I'm kind of hoping that works. It's, if I'm a good producer, I'll run out of room quickly and have to use bags. But kind of excited about trying that. I've never had a client use them. We'll see if it works. Okay, so my next favorite thing. So parents, if you are new to this, the best way to the most accurate way to take your baby's temperature in the first couple of years of life is rectally. And it's a little intimidating the first time you might try to take your baby's temperature with a regular under the armpit, under the mouth axillary thermometer. So this one's my favorite. Frida Baby makes a rectal thermometer that's had a tiny little probe, so you really can't mess it up. It's foolproof. Several other brands make one. Safety First makes one, but they're the only kind of thermometer you can really find right now due to the current crisis. If you're needing a thermometer, they do work really well. And then another one of my it's a luxury, not a necessity. I'll just tell you that. It's a convenience thing. If you've ever had to deal with wipes, either in the package or even in like a Prince Lionheart warmer or something, inevitably you're having to like take a wipe out and then fling it to get it off the other one because you've got your other hand on the baby. So one-handed wipe dispensing is important to me, especially with wipes like water wipes because they stick together. So one of my favorite things is the OXO Tot. Okay.
Oh yeah,
one of those. Inside is this weighted plate that sits on top of the wipes. So as you pull one out, the weight holds the rest of them down, and you can one-handed pull wipes out, and it's just got this really lovely, like, push the button, pop it open situation.
The only thing that would make that better is if they had like a little plug in there to warm them up.
Oh no, I am no, Angela.
I I hate putting cold wipes on the baby's bottom.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. This is 20 years of experience talking right now.
Okay.
The second you pull that warm wipe out,
it gets cold.
It gets cold. So just take the wipe out and hold it in your hand for a second and then use it. And the baby does not care. It's going to be the same. Here's the other thing. Warm, dark, moist. What does that make? Bacteria, mold, all kinds of gross stuff. Trust me, your baby doesn't need warm wipes from a warmer. It's a fire hazard. It's a mold growth laboratory. Just hold it in your hand, count to 3, and it'll be just as warm as it would be coming out of that warmer. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Yes, you did.
Also, it's a pain to put water in the wipe warmers all the time. Remember all that stuff? Like, I don't have a wipe warmer, but I've had clients that have, and it's a pain in the butt.
And if it gets dried out, it really can, like, the whole bottom gets brown, and it can be like
they have the little spongy thing in there, don't they?
Yes, but if you don't keep adding water,
that can get dried out too.
Nasty.
Maybe I'm just a little OCD about that, because I make sure. Okay, this is okay. That's just me.
Let's just make sure that you never change my boys' diapers, because I don't want to get used to that.
Oh, this is
don't spoil.
Don't spoil this boy. He's not going to get any warm wipes from me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have a comment. Janessa says she liked the concept of the kind bottle, but she thought the bottle was really awkward shape to use.
My son really likes it. He likes to hold on to it the way it is. If you give me a second, I can show you. Hold on. Let me grab them. Hold on one sec.
They are sort of like oval shaped. So for a brand new baby who isn't participating, it probably is more awkward. But once they're old enough to hold on, it's not too bad.
Okay, so this is what it looks like, the bottle part. So he likes to go like this and hold on to it. So the bag just slips in through here, and then the top part, like the little plastic circle that from the top of the thing, it clicks into there, and then the nipple kind of like goes inside of the bag. Like then it connects to the bag. So, but my son, he loved it. And we went through so many bottles. And of course, every child has their own preference. But I probably bought like 6 different kinds of bottles. And this was the one that worked. So.
It's the same with the sippy cups, but I'll get to that. All right, Miss Yolanda.
The first one is doggy poop bags, like the same thing you use for your pets. We put the stinky diapers in those. We buy them like in bulk. Well, we bought them in bulk from Amazon, like when the twins were first born, and we still have plenty left. But it just helps to keep the smell in, and we keep the little. I was going to call it a trapper keeper. We keep the diaper caddy in the garage, but still it kind of keeps the smell in, and it's just an inexpensive way to do that. And then the other thing I would say is probably for my husband, back to the carriers, he loves the Ergo. Like the Ergo baby carrier. It feels like kind of manly and masculine for him. It's a little bit more structured. He pops the kid in. He gets preferential treatment whenever we travel when he has a baby strapped to him. So it's one of his favorite things.
If I could just say something on the poop bags tip, if you get them as, like she was saying, doggy, instead of getting the ones that are made for babies, they're so much cheaper.
Yes.
And if you're like environmentally conscious and you're afraid to use so much plastic, they make doggy poop bag ones that are biodegradable. So.
And if you shop like I do, you take the Walmart shopping bags and you put them in there and you recycle those shopping bags. I like to put it in there, twist it around, fold it back around so it's double wrap. Because some of those poops, now you all know, some of those poops are like, oh my God, are you amazed? What?
Especially when they're eating food.
Yes.
It's worse.
I swore that I wasn't going to get a diaper pail because I've tried everyone on the market and none of them ever stay smell free. And so I swore I wasn't going to get one and was just going to like take out the diapers each one at a time. And I really did. I got a stainless steel diaper pail, and I'm going to, I'm planning to cloth diaper once I'm like recovered and feeling up to it, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
And Courtney, it's just a convenience thing because you don't always have a moment to like walk it all the way outside.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm gonna just have a rule that it just has to be emptied every single day because it's the worst, especially and my baby's nursery is really tiny, and I hate diaper pails.
But once a day is so much easier to deal with than every single time, especially like in the beginning. Like my son used to poop like 6 times a day.
Yes.
It's completely unreasonable. It's just, I mean, after all these years of like requiring my clients to have one, now I'm like, ooh, I don't want that in my house.
It's amazing what you want for your own child, but require for another person's child.
Oh, girl. It's embarrassing, quite frankly.
Now, because I have worked with so many twins, you can go the expensive route or you can go the cheap route. When I feed twins, I like the Bouncy Seats because it helps. I mean, seriously, I get on the floor, I buckle them in, here you go. Or you can get the table for 2 that's like $400 or $500, depends on where you get it from, and all the bells and whistles on it. But you can find one for about $250. But I've used both, but I prefer the Bouncy Seat because I can put one over here and one over there. With the table for 2, you got to move the whole thing, and that thing is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
With the Bouncy Seat, I can just, slide them across the, and I like to interlock them, especially if I have twins and they sit on the floor. I loop because they come together in like a angle, like that. I put one angle into another and I lock them in so that if one moves, they don't shift. Excuse me. It's easier access. And they're closer together for me. It just feels better, more. I can usually put one leg on this side and one leg on the other side, and have both of them in between my legs while I'm feeding them. And that, to me, is like a safety lock-in. So you're not going anywhere, and you're not going anywhere. We're both gonna sit here. We're gonna eat. And when you're feeding twins, this is just my thing. I bring pacifiers with me, because I feed them, and then I take the bottles out and I stick a pacifier in one mouth while I'm burping the other one, put that one down, stick a pacifier in, burp the other one, and then we resume eating. Now there's usually one that it takes a little longer than the other one. So I make sure the one that's eating first, that feeds faster, I make sure they're burped while they're sitting there waiting on the other one to finish eating. Because there's nothing worse than a baby sitting there and you're waiting to burp. And then they start squirming because that gas bubble starts coming up. And right about then, the other twin does something. You're like, okay, now which one do I burp first? Get the fastest one first. That's my twin deal. Also, I like making blankets. Have a blanket big enough so you can put both babies on. Those little gym. I wish they made a gym and thought about twins when they make these gyms.
They do. There is a twin
gym.
Is
there?
Yeah.
Where is it? What is it?
I'll send you the link. It's like it's like a play mat and a half, and it's big enough for 2 babies. Okay. I'll send it to you.
Because we either got 2 play mats, one over here and one over there. I want to be able to interact with both of them at the same time instead of, hey, baby, over here, how you doing? And hey, baby, over here, how you doing?
You mean
So
like a play
I
gym?
will find a big blanket and I will lay the big blanket out and we're going to all be on the floor together.
You mean like a play gym, right?
Yeah, like the play gym.
We had a oversized one. It was a Baby Einstein one that I got on Amazon. I think it was like $69 or something like that, and it was huge.
Okay.
So
So my suggestion: get the oversized one if you have twins, or if you have a big baby that's going, just rolling all over the place. Get a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Stacy, we're back to you.
Okay, so
Let's see if we have any comments.
now that he's a little bit older and he's eating, he like rips bibs off. So I just got one of these. It's like a smock almost.
Yes.
Like with the full arms, it ties in the back. He can't get it off. And then also because he was pulling it off and then he was getting all stained. And like, I'm a little anal when it comes to that. I don't want the clothes stained. I know sometimes it's like, you can't do anything about it. But if I can prevent it, he can't get off. This is amazing. And then at night, I just scrub it and like let it air dry and you can use it the next day. So definitely one of those. And they make a bunch of different types of ones. I think this one was like $20 on Amazon. So
for crafting too.
It's like a smock. Exactly.
I like the Dura bib with the one with the pocket in the front. Yeah. Especially when they eat it. I like the pockets. Catch all the food.
Yeah, no, this one does have a pocket.
Oh, does it? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
do you use it for art projects?
He's not old enough for art projects really yet, but right now it's just food.
Okay.
Eventually it'll get to that point. So
okay.
As far as you were saying, the Bouncy Seats. So we had like a super cheapy $24 one off of Amazon that was like, it was a rocker, but you can stop it from rocking when he was little. And I would put him in that when I was like cooking or doing something where I couldn't be holding him. And when he got older, I like took the stand part off basically, and he rocked himself. He would kick his foot and it would rock. And he loved that.
Cute.
Yeah. And we used that until he was too big and like was basically like trying to get out of it. So it lasted a while. I want to say it was probably around 7 months that it lasted. So that was great.
Yes. And they're also good for when babies are learning how to hold their own bottles because gravity.
Yes.
Please be there with your child because gravity. Gravity works for you and against you because gravity. Yeah. Please be there with your child. But it's one of the easiest ways to teach your child to hold on to their bottles because it's they're already leaning kind of at an angle, so it helps them to kind of the milk to come down instead of it. Now it's going to take a while for them to learn how to push that bottle up to get that last little drop out of there. But yeah,
it's also great if you're a new mom and you need to take a shower.
Yes, exactly.
I would make it so that my head, like the shower head was kind of angled. I just kept the door open to the glass door open, and I would have him in that, and I would be talking to him while I was showering. It gave me, I was allowed to have showers. It was so nice. So that definitely like a Bouncy Seat, like it's super important. Yes. And then when he was really little, before he started rolling and stuff, I really liked the Boppy, the Boppy Lounger, yes. And I would just have it right next to me. Obviously not safe for, sleeping, especially unaccompanied or anything like that. But I would have it right next to me, and I was in bed if I was watching TV or reading or doing something, and he was right there, and it was super comfy. And so we used that a lot when he was really little.
Okay, I'm looking at all these comments. Selma said yes, they do the same for twins. And Claylee says that she prefers the Boppies to feed twins and more. So I know I'm gonna ask Courtney on next go around about higher order. Because I know my place. Twins is it for me. Triplets did it once, it wasn't for me. I know you had 6 at one time. But,
that's a lot.
I know I'm in my lane. I'm staying in my lane. 2 is enough. So
every time I think about how hard it's going to be taking care of this baby and recovering from birth and all that, I just think, but I took care of 6, so I should be able to do the 1. So we'll hope that works out. I, for twins, prefer to feed in my lap in a chair. It has to be the right kind of chair. It has to be an upholstered chair with plenty of arm room. Obviously, when they get to be 3 or 4 months old, they're too big for that. But I think it also depends on the way your body is shaped. I have not been able to necessarily teach someone else how to feed babies like I do. But I feed twins in my arms. And that's my primary technique is I will put the big one in the back, in the smaller one sort of layered with his head sort of on the lower part of the second one, the first one in the back. And then I take the bottle and turn it backwards like this. If you've ever fed a baby goat, it's very similar to that. And then I use the other hand to feed this one. And then
you got 1 here and 1 here.
Yeah. So I turn this one, my hand backwards, like we'll pretend like this candle is a bottle. So I turn it backwards and then I feed the other one this way.
Okay.
And then I stick the bottle back in the corner of the chair and then hold one and burp one at the same time. And it's trial by fire. I mean, I just have been doing this so long that I figured out how to do it and it works for me.
When you have your own method, you have your method. I have used, the snap-on strollers. I have flipped that thing around and went like this. One down here, one up here. So I've done the stroller thing and picked them up, burp, picked them up, burp. Yeah, you find a way to make it work.
Yeah,
you find a way to make it work.
Bigger, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got to move to the floor typically, and I really can't stand the table for 2. I think it'd be a great place to like hang out while you're digesting your food, but I don't like to feed. And either you have to sit cross-legged in front of it, or you have to widely spread your legs, and then you're leaning over. Like it's ergonomically a terrible problem for the parent or the caregiver. I mean, I love the idea. It just doesn't work for me. I try to avoid containers, so I'm not a big Bouncy Seat fan. I will have one in the bathroom, as Stacy has shared. That's my emergency. I need a minute to myself. You're sitting in the seat. And so what I've done is I'm a single mom, so I have put safe, flat surfaces all over the house. Mini cribs, bassinets, floor play mats, things where he can be safe, but also have the room to, stretch his arms and legs and not be, in a container. So I think that's my favorite is that I have for my bedside is new. It's called the Kiko Close to You. It's a 3-in-1 bassinet. It's too big to bring into my office and show you, but it's on wheels. It's got a smaller footprint than the Halo. The back legs, which would be what sticks out from your bed, are shorter. So there's much less trip hazard than if you've used a Halo bassinet, which are awful, in my opinion. It has a brake so that you can stop it from rolling. And then it has on the sides, you push a button and you can raise and lower the bassinet. So you can really have it hovering right over the top of your mattress, right next to you, which I think is really important for new moms and dads who are recovering, are exhausted. The baby's right there, but on their own safe sleep surface. And it's really pretty. So the new Kiko Close to You is my favorite, currently my favorite bassinet. And I can just, throw the stuff in that we need to go to the living room and just roll them in there if I need to. What were you going to ask me about feeding sex?
About the higher order. I know you've taken care of up to 6 at one time.
Yeah.
Now, give us some tips and tricks about that because
You say hi?
He wants more.
He wants food.
It's time to eat, Mama.
Or with higher order multiples, well, any multiples, and it just has to be an assembly line. So being organized, having a schedule that you can sort of keep track of, taking good notes, and I'll tell you why that's important in a minute. We color-coded bottles, so you can have bands made with their names or colors that go on the bottles. I think we used hair ties. Claylee, is that right? Did we use hair ties with the sextuplets? So different colored rubber bands to indicate whose bottle was whose. And they were also color-coded the spot that they slept in, had like a little laminated chart at the end of the crib where it had like what medications they were on or what preferences they had. And, we color-coded everything. I had identical triplet boys once, and I color-coded. And to this day, they are still blue, yellow, and green. And they're, I don't know, 10 years old now. So having a system, staying organized, with feeding, I mean, you can really, you can feed 4 at once if you have big hands. I don't believe in propping. I don't believe in propping bottles. So you can, with like Dr. Brown's narrow neck, you might be able to get your hands over 2 sets. I can do it with Playtex drop-ins because it's a shell with a bag on the inside, so you can pin 2 shells together. So I have fed triplets and quads with Playtex bottles pretty easily, all 4 together. And what I do is I set them up so that their heads are above their bellies next to me, and I just have them sort of in my lap or right next to my lap on the floor, and do it that way. I've also can tell you with our sextuplets, there were 2 babies that just really couldn't be fed with everybody else because they needed special attention. There were, babies who had to be fed, in the sideline position, or had to go slower and had to be paced. So it's not always as simple as just, how many bottles can you hold? It depends on the baby's ability. But that's the key, is like having a system. I will tell you a funny story about the sextuplets. Clearly, I think you were there with me when we had this night. So someone had ordered food or brought food for the whole family, and there were lots of volunteers there that day, and it was so mom would bathe the baby, hand to me. I would go dry off, dress, hand to a volunteer to feed. So we do this whole cycle. Everybody gets a bath, gets wrapped back up, and is getting their nighttime bottle. We put everybody back in bed. We're all so excited to go eat. Nobody has charted anything. We all just go sit down and eat dinner. And one of the smaller babies, was so fussy, and she just wouldn't settle, kept going back to the nursery. And then I went to go look to see if anybody wrote down the feed, and found her bottle color-coded full. Nobody fed her. Oh, it was an accident, right? Like, I mean, she got handed off to somebody else who thought she'd already eaten, and when you have a lot of hands in the mix, that's what happens. So anyway, she ended up getting a late feeding and finally went to sleep. But the key is organization. Color coding, I think, works great, and then having some place to write down everything that's happened so that you don't have that problem of missing a feeding.
Okay, Miss Alonda.
Well, I definitely second the schedule, even though we only had 2. But one other tip is, if you have older children, making sure that you find a balance. So one, you're including them in the care for their younger siblings, but also you're being intentional about having time for them just by themselves, because it's an adjustment. They're used to it just being them, or perhaps them and another older sibling, and it's quite the shift. So that's something we're still doing now, even as the twins are approaching 2. And the other thing I would say is keeping in line with cost savings when you have twins or more than one. we buy a lot of things at Costco. Like we use Costco diapers. When we were using formula, we used Costco formula, which is like half the price of Similac Pro. So just little things like that. We bought, we still buy like applesauce and all these other things in bulk that, the kids eat frequently. So just looking for different savings from some of the, bigger retailers as much as possible. Not feeling like everything has to be name brand.
Exactly. It's almost all the same stuff. It just
it really is
label on it.
We use
exactly.
diapers.
Yeah.
We use Kirkland diapers and then Amazon wipes. The unscented ones are amazing.
Awesome.
This is going to not be a popular opinion, just because it is extra work. So even if you don't want a cloth diaper, one of the things I've done with a lot of my clients is cloth wipes. It's so easy, way easier than cloth diapers. And I just buy like bamboo washcloths, buy a couple of dozen of them. And you just use like the OXO white box, or any container is fine. And I just make a little solution of water and whatever your baby soap is. I would use something non-toxic, and a little bit of, I use grapeseed oil. Depending on if your baby has a rash, you can use other things, a tiny bit of witch hazel for, for a swollen rash, or there are lots of recipes out there essentially. So oil, soap, and water, and then you soak the washcloths. And then you just use them and put them, in a little baggie that's going to go into the wash on a sterile cycle. They come out clean. It's so easy. And, I've never had a baby have a rash who used the homemade wipes.
Okay. I need to get that recipe from you.
And they're so cheap. I mean, it's, I've also done it with paper towels. You can do it with Viva, where you cut a roll.
In half.
And you soak it. But then you have like, the Viva paper towels have chlorine in them, and it's not that much better. It's cheaper than wipes. It's probably not better on your bottom. But the bamboo or cotton washcloth trick is, you can buy a whole pack of those on Etsy for like $12. And then just, have a bin to put them in that's separate, and then wash them on your hot sterile cycle. So that is maybe not in the very beginning when you've got too much on your plate, but once things settle in and you're having, just a few dirty diapers a day, that is one of my favorite little ways to save money.
Okay. Oh, it's 8:00 already. Okay. This last one, and I'll wrap it up. Okay. So the one thing I want new parents to remember is that the family that you created, don't let the family you created destroy you. Now, when I say that is, you pay so much attention to the baby, from the time of conception until the time they're born, and after they're born, and it's the baby. Don't forget to take time out for each other. With my parents, I will tell them when I go for as a newborn care specialist, when I go for the interview, and I'll just tell them, y'all need a date night. Y'all need to get out and do something. Go and have some new time. But the one rule is, for the first hour, you cannot talk about the baby. You cannot talk about the baby because it's just so ingrained in you. Well, what does the baby need? Well, I think the baby, and so came to see the baby, and the baby. You need to talk about you. You can talk about the weather. You can talk about what's on the menu. You can talk about, the trees, the sky, whatever. But no talking about the baby, because you need to rediscover each other, because the baby pretty much has taken over your life since conception. And it's all about, well, we got to go to doctor's appointments, all this other stuff that goes around the baby. And everybody that calls you wants to know, well, how's the baby doing? They don't check on you anymore. They check on the babies. They didn't call to talk to you. They called to talk to you about the babies. So if you know that person is texting you and it's about the baby, put the phone down. You'll get back to them later. And besides, you don't need those distractions, because it's about you mom and daddy getting back to one another and getting back to being something other than baby making machines. So I mean, and it's and they look at. I get the same look that y'all just gave me, but it's the truth. You have to get back to you and get back to know each other and get back to life beyond the baby. And for some couples, they want it. The service, some couples they don't. I'll come in early, you go out on a date and go and don't expect me. Well, you're gonna send some pictures? No, not within the first hour. Because we're not talking about the baby, remember? Don't call me. Don't ask about the baby. If there's an emergency, I have your number. I have emergency contact numbers. So we're not going to talk about the baby. And because I've instructed you not to talk about the baby, I'm not sending you pictures of the baby. I'll wait until 1 hour and 1 minute and then send you a picture and say, baby's fine. So,
and I was going to say, and Miss Angela, just to expand upon that, like that's important as a couple, but as women, that's also extremely important that we have that time for just ourselves as well. Yeah.
Yes. You need some me time. You definitely need some me time. Just to, even if you just have to go outside, smell the roses and come back in, you need some me time. Now, to expand upon your white idea, I have sunblock wipes. I create regular wipes, put them in the diaper, the little plastic container, pour the sunblock in there, let it soak in. Flip it over, let it soak in. That way, it's just wiping the sunblock on the kids. Instead of you having to spray and all this all up in their faces and trying to spray it on them and trying to rub it on them because they run. And that white goopy stuff, oh God, it gets all heavy. I don't know what it is about my hands. I just don't like goop on it. Although I have stuck my fingers in a whole lot of poop by accident. But that works well. And when they get older and they can use the bug spray, you can do the same thing with bug spray and rub on them. And it works well. It works great. So now, if any of our watching audience, let's see, I think we got all the comments. If any of our watching audience, if you have a baby hack or a baby must-haves, please list them in the comments. It'd be even better if you list the links so that parents can see and nannies and newborn care specialists can actually see what you're talking about. Because sometimes you call it one thing and we call it something else. It may have been what your grandmother called it, and you still call it the same thing. That happened to me the other day, and I was like, what are you talking about? And when she sent me the picture, I was like, oh, this is what you're talking about. So please add a link, not just the name, because we may not recognize the name. Add a link, please. And I will try to add the links to all the things that I mentioned. And ladies, if you will do the same, if you have pictures or links to Amazon, I have a list in Amazon that I keep. So I can just pull up, okay, this is what I'm talking about, and I can just show the parents. And literally, sometimes they'll sit there, okay, so can you send me that? Send the link to them, and they order it for the baby. We want one of those.
Yeah.
So it makes it so much easier when you have it on Amazon. You have it on lockdown. Wish list. And that's what I have it on wish list. So I was like, okay, here's the link to the wish list or a baby registry. So if you have things in your
is baby list, because you can add from any website, any Amazon, any other registry, you can combine all in one place.
Oh, okay.
That's what we used for my baby shower was Baby List.
It's awesome.
Babylist.com. Okay. That works. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. Thank you for all of your tips and advice and funny stories. And please add your links to the comments. Your business links, please put them in the comments, because some people don't watch the film. They just go through the comments and look and read the comments. So please put your information in the comments so that people can use your services. And I need to announce this starting May the 4th. In 2 weeks, I believe, we are going to start broadcasting from the Ask the Nanny page. Woohoo!
Yay!
So spread the news, spread the news, spread the news. Now I will share it from Ask the Nanny to my personal page, but we're going to be broadcasting from the actual Ask the Nanny Facebook page. Okay?
Awesome.
So,
Very cool.
mark your calendars. And thank you all again for taking the time out to educate us and to get those quick fixes, because I know we have helped somebody tonight. So we will see you all next week. Next week, our special guest is Aileen Matherin. We're going to have Girl Talk with Aileen, because once we get together, we can talk about anything. So next week, we're going to talk with Aileen Matherin. She is the administrator and the owner of My Nanny Circle. Many of you know her. So join us next week right here, same time, same place, and we'll see you then. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Miss Angela.
Welcome.